Hello, I am Sundar Vedantam. Over the years, many students have asked me if they should do a PhD or why one does. I have answered them individually, but since the question keeps coming up again and again, I thought I would make this simple one take talking head video providing my answer. If I had tried to answer this question when I was in my 20s in grad school, I don't know if I have articulated it the same way, but I think thinking back over the years, the reasons have more or less remained the same. So I can say this confidently now. I'm going to list three reasons, and there could always be people who did not do a PhD and they have gained these insights or these benefits on their own, and vice versa. There could be people who went through a PhD program but they did not see these benefits. All that is completely possible, right? But in general, if you list time on the x-axis for the amount of years you spend in school and the benefits on the y-axis, as you spend more time you are probably going to see this on the top right quadrant, right? So that's what is the conclusion. So I would say the first answer or the first reason to do a PhD is to be able to take up problems that are in the world that from the outset looks really complicated, unsolvable, but when you do a PhD, you gain the confidence to be able to take such problems and give it a shot. Right? It may get solved, it may not get solved, but at least you internalize the notion that whatever problem that looks big, you can still give it a shot and probably try to solve it. Even within the companies that I worked in, there'll be extraordinarily brilliant engineers, but when you give them a problem that's too open, they kind of get lost and they don't know usually how to proceed. But once you figure out what needs to be done and you tell them what to go and do, they are able to do that. That strength is needed in companies at lower grades. That we expect engineers to get the clear instructions on what they need to be doing. But as you rise in your career, being able to deal with this ambiguity and take up huge problems that are not clearly laid out for you is a very good skill that you acquire when you go through a PhD program. You particularly internalize that, right? That's one. The number two is just the emotional maturity. You will spend several years sitting in grad school uh, discussing problems and with your peers. As you do that, you try to or you learn to disassociate yourself from the problem and look at it more rationally without too much of emotions getting involved, right? I think this is a big benefit I gained by going to grad school. So later in life, whether it's like a family issue or you're debating some politics, whatever it may be, without getting too heated up or getting emotional, you would be able to stand back, look at the problem, take some input that's coming from the opposite side, or consider the data and be able to change your position, or look at it and politely say, yeah, I see your point, and then make progress, right? This is a very important skill that one should learn. But being in the grad school, we gain that aptitude. The third one is the set of contacts that you develop during the years you spend in grad school. People who are doing PhD are the self-selected group of people who are intentionally trying to solve some complex problem or research something that's complicated, right? As a result, the quality of the debates, the discussions, the interactions that we have with these peers would be much better. It will be of higher quality. Of course, again, there could be people who did not go to grad school who may be bright, who may bring in all kinds of interesting views, not denying that. But in general, when I look at my own grad school group, the problems that they are talking about, are the papers that they are citing, how they view an issue, that is all usually a cut above compared to the interactions I have in other forums or even in my extended family. That I hope I do not come out sounding snobbish when saying that, but that's what happens when you try to spend more and more years in grad school trying to resolve issues in a rational way without getting emotionally attached to answers or theses that are out there, right? To give a simple example, when I was writing this thought experiments book, I wanted to get someone's input, which will not be simple platitude saying, "Oh, you are writing a book, that's great," kind of thing. So I could leverage the contacts that I had all the way back in my grad school. And so I could go and ask my MS thesis advisor, who has somehow magically become more of a friend now. So, since he knew me from more than 3 decades ago, I know he won't give some polite answer, but he'll really get into it. And he's also a person of great detail, right? So, he read through the book line by line, corrected a lot of mistakes, challenged me on areas where I was not clear or I said something contradictory. So, as a result, I think the English version of the book that I published is of much better quality than the Tamil one, right? So that means the contacts that you develop, that stays with you, and you can leverage it for the rest of your life, right? So these are the three big reasons. And you may have noticed so far I did not say the degree itself, which I think is more of a byproduct. I did talk to a few other faculty colleagues of mine, and they have said things like, "Are you interested in doing research?" Those kinds of questions are also important. But I think to me, those are weaved into this process, right? And so, if you really sit back and think, the number one item that you can take any big problem and see if you can solve it. Then number two, emotional maturity, so that you are not getting too heated up when things are not going your way. And number three, developing a good set of contacts that will last for the rest of your life. Those are the three big benefits. And of course, PhD is a respected degree, so it will open a lot more doors for you, and you would be able to earn more in general. Those are all certainly there. But getting the first three benefits that I listed out is what I personally cherish the most. And I hope you do too if you pursue a degree in your career. Good luck.